grass rats. Have you bought any of our merchandise yet? Well, you need to head over to our store, TarylFixesAll.com. Pick yourself up some merchandise. We got all kinds of stuff. Check it out. And there's your dinner. Taryl Dactal here. Today's video is going to be on this here David Bradley Suburban, 1961. So we already did a video on why it was hard to start. Now we're going to replace the axle seals. So I've already removed the rear wheels. And I'm getting it prepped. So now we got to pull off this hub and this brake. Because if you notice, this thing's got individual brakes on it. You can basically steer it with these brakes. So I'm going to try to take off this hub on this side first. Now I may have to do my old heat quench trick to it. So I need to clean this up right here. And then we'll take this bolt out and we'll see if we can get this hub off. So I got my 4-inch grinder with the knotted wheel on there. Alright, now let's take this 9/16 bolt out here, headed bolt, 3/8 bolt. Alright, that came out easy. Now we got to get this. Whoa, look at that. Boy, was that, we got lucky there. Just got some, got some booger on the end of here. I can feel it. It's got a lip like it'd been hammered on. So I'll have to get a file. We'll file that booger off. Probably from this thing leaking so much over the years, it kept it nice and pre-lubed for us. All right, let me get a file. All right, there's some burrs right here on the end of the keyway. Look at that. Look at that. Let me give it a tap. Boy, I got lucky on that. So there's that hub for this side. Now, if it would have been stuck on there, you know, I would use the air hammer trick, but this axle on this side has got a cap in here, a plug, a steel plug. Because this shaft is hollow. So if I put the air hammer on it, it would have just destroyed this plug. So if it was seized on there, chances are I would have had to get a, you know, if I had to do my heat quench trick, I would have had to have put a gear puller on here. And probably like a flat piece of steel or a big nut or something to keep from wrecking this end. But I think there might be a few little more burrs on here. I did have to tap it a little bit. All right, I need to take this key out. I'll get a pair of side cutters for that, so I can grab the key, pull that out. Now we got this brake hub that needs to come off. And if you notice, we've got some jam nuts on there with some square heads. I might have to take this off too. I probably should, because it'll be easier to get to the seal maybe. But let me just try loosening these first and see if we can get this hub off. So that looks like it might be 9/16 or 5/8. Alright, so these are 5/8 jam nuts. It's got a 5/8 wrench to loosen that jam nut. And then I'm going to use a 3/8 8-point socket. Because the 8-point sockets for these square heads. That one was loose already. Now let's see if we get lucky with this too. Oh yeah. Just gave it a little tap. It's moving. I don't want to hit it on that square head. Where else can I tap on this? I don't think I have a gear puller that's deep enough to pull this off. I got an idea. Alright, put me some rubber gloves on, because this thing is all oily and nasty. So my idea is I'll just hold this piece of plate on there and I'll hit it with the air hammer and I might be able to walk it off. So first I want to put a divot in there to kind of hold the bit in place. Otherwise, I may have to weld this piece of plate to the bit. Let's see if this will work. It may not. I get a lot of pressure on it. Moving a little bit. And get my plastic hammer. My brass hammer. God, I had a, there it is. Oh, I had a rag over here. Let's see if it'll come off. It wants to. Sometimes the keyway will get a little raised up. I don't feel any other burrs on there. Try it again. I'm going to take this brake off. Give me some room behind it. There's a roll pin down here. And I got a roll pin punch. If you don't know what a roll pin punch is, it's got a little nipple on the end of it. Little dot on there. That's for going inside the roll pin so it don't kind of holds it in place for you. As long as the roll pin moves. Don't look like it wants to move. Alright, let me get underneath there. There we go. All right, got that roll pin out. I took that all off in one shot. There's a little spacer that went on there. Everything is all full of gear oil. Gear oil on here. You probably had no brakes. You can see how much gear oil leaked. Since we did the last video, this thing's been sitting in here for a week. There we go. There's our dinner. Got lucky. $60-some years of crap accumulated in there. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That's tasty. Mmm, that looks tasty. Grass and gear oil, my favorite snack. Get me some crackers. There's a little ring of it right here. Little ring of grass and gear oil. All right. Well, there's the seal. We're gonna get out of there. We're gonna dig out. Now there's another key on here for that brake hub right here. Got a little divot on it from that retaining nut. Same thing, I'll try to pull that out with some side cutters. There we go. Got that out. We'll have to clean this up. Take a look at the shaft here. Pretty clean. We don't have to do a lot of cleaning. Here's another spot where that hub, that retaining bolt, mushed on the shaft here. So that's going to create a high spot. We're going to want to knock that down a little bit. And now I got to dig that seal out of there. You got a seal puller. Alright, I'm going to try this seal puller on there. You can pick these up a lot of places, auto parts store, Harbor Freight, pick it up online. Got this 3-point hitch thing in the way. Doesn't want to come out. It's fighting me. You don't want to use a good screwdriver because you might break it. Let's see if I can get on the top of this here. That was just a socket. No reason to be alarmed. I can collapse it some. Come on, seal. I have another trick where I could drive a screw in there and then I use like a slide hammer. And then I slide hammer it out. And I don't want to break this housing either. So you got to kind of be careful. Just got to work at it. Sometimes these seals pop right out. Other times they're just difficult. Some tough seals. Old seals. Because instead of a rubber lip, it uses like this felt. In case you were wondering what that was, for those of you that don't know, that's like a felt that they would use, where the new ones, you know, got a rubber lip on them. Can I get under there now? This one is really tough. Again, I want to be careful. I don't want to break this housing prying on it. Cast iron. Hope the other side isn't going to be as hard. Jeez. Come on, this thing is really giving me the flux. Oh, I can't believe this thing is this hard to get out. I've never had a seal fight me this bad. Come on, you gotta move at some point here. What the heck is going on here? David Bradley. Mad about something? No, I'm getting mad. Maybe that's what we need. We need to get mad at the seal. You gotta be kidding me. This thing is tough. Tough like a Navy SEAL. And they're tough. It don't even look like a seal. It looks like some kind of alien. I thought I split it down the middle. You know, I got it wedged down, and then I took the blade of the screwdriver and tried to cut it in half. You'd think that would weaken it up enough. It's usually what I do, and then you collapse the outer edge and it makes it smaller, and then it comes right out. But for some reason, this thing is really giving me the flux. Oh, it's coming now. Oh, look at it. We're getting it there. Woo! Man. Look at this thing. Look at that seal. Look how thick it is. I finally got it. See what I was talking about? You try to collapse the outside edge of it so it'll kind of curl in, and then it should be loose and you can just dig it right out. So this has got rubber with a spring on the inside, and then it's got this felt outer seal on it. So that's why we're going to be able to stack two seals in there, because of the thickness of this. But look at that thing. It's mangled trying to get that thing out. We're going to chop all the footage down and be digging it out of there, but it took me a good probably 8-10 minutes. And it usually doesn't take that long to pull a seal. And I don't mean the musical artist seal. Like I said, this thing was tough. Tough like a Navy SEAL. Alright, so now that I put a bunch of little nicks on there, I'm going to kind of file them down. We don't want to catch the new seal on there. Make sure it's nice and smooth. All right. Now I'll get the new seals out. We'll clean this up in here. Before I put that seal in, I gotta give David Bradley a cavity search. Gotta make sure this cavity on David Bradley is all nice and clean before we go shoving that seal in there. All right. He looks good and clean. So I got the new seal. case you're interested, Casey Raymond had got the seals online. There's the part number and there's the size of the seal. So you're going to need 2 of them. So there's lots of different ways to put the seals on. Some guys will put tape on here to protect the seal as you're sliding it on. Some guys will take like a pop can, a soda can, and cut the soda can, you know, because it's thin aluminum, and wrap that piece of aluminum soda can over it and then slide the seal over that. But this is such a big seal that really don't need to do all that. You just need to lube it up real good, grease it up, the lip. And I can just slide it on there. It'll be fine. Give it a turn as you're doing that. Now I got to drive the seal on there. So I'll just use the hub as a seal driver. Since this hub slid on there pretty easy. Just want to make sure you kind of drive it in square. I can see it's sticking in that side a little bit more than over here. There we go. Once you get it squared up, it should go right in. All right, there's the first one. Now sometimes when you stack seals like this, air will get trapped in here. And as you're trying to drive it in, it's pushing against that air and it wants to bounce or not go in. So there's another trick for doing that, which would require you to just use some shipping tag wire, and you put the lay the shipping tag wires on there and slide the seal over the shipping tag wire, and then that way that makes a little gap to let the air come out. But I'm going to pack the back side of this one with some grease in this little compartment in here. And that'll help kind of hold that spring in there. Uncle Pat taught me that trick with the shipping wire, shipping tag wire, and packing the back of this with some grease. Kind of help hold that spring in place. I'm going to have to fill this thing up with some grease again. Looks like peanut butter. wipe the outside edge. So let me go get a couple of shipping tag wires and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what he meant. Putting the shipping tag wires in there, and that kind of opens up the seal a little bit to let some air through. But that's not going to work for me because I got to slide this on as my seal tool. So the wires will be in the way. But if you're tapping it in, you know, that's something that you could do. He said that's an old trick they used to use that ditch witch. He worked that ditch witch, working on the witch's broom. I use my brass hammer so I don't expand the metal on there. Alright, so there's our seals installed. There's our seals. There we go, there's your dinner. I just got to clean up this hub, clean up that brake band, reassemble all that, and now we'll do the other side. Let's see how difficult that's going to be. Let's see if we're going to have to use the old heat quench on the other side. Pull this hub off. All right, that one ain't coming off with that battery impact. Let's use the old-fashioned half-inch air. Oh yeah, that took it right out. And while we're here, let's just loosen this up. 5/8 wrench. There we go. I think this side is going to give us the flux as far as getting these hubs off. I don't know if they're going to come off as easy. We got that loose, even though this side's leaking too. So the first thing I'm going to try is my air hammer. See if that hub will come off. See if we can get a little divot going on the center of the shaft. It moved. It moved a little bit. All right, let's get the Croyle. Croyle! There you are. Here's Croyle. We spray it down there in that little groove there. We got a keyway. So since we got it to move, you know, you want to work it back and forth. So let me tap it back on there. since it's moving, tap it past. Put a little more coil on there. Now that I got some of this exposed, let me clean up the end of that shaft. Get that safety move. That safety to move on that, on this tool, so I can trigger it. All right, we got that cleaned up. We look at the end of the shaft here. Make sure there's no burrs or it's not raised up. Some more coil. Alright, we're getting lucky on this one too. I thought I was going to have to heat it and quench it. I know Elkskin's had one of these, similar, and he changed the seals on his. But his were rusted on there so bad that I had to heat and quench them for him. And then he changed the seals himself. Alright, so we're gonna have to clean the shaft from here to there. Otherwise we're gonna be fighting that hub the whole way. I've seen people try to pull stuff on, and I'm like, why are you trying to drag that across that rusted shaft? I go, you gotta clean that. What are you doing, you knucklehead? Okay, I removed that brake already. We didn't have to show you that because you saw me do it on the other side. Now let's see if this brake hub will come off. Oh yeah, we got lucky. Woo! We got real lucky on this job. We removed that key. And then again, gonna take our Don Knotts wire wheel. So what I should have did on that other side, when I was taking that seal out, was use my slide hammer. So let's try it on this side, instead of picking away at it like a piece of chicken. You get my slide hammer and my array of little adapters I made. We'll drill a couple of small holes in here. See if we can extract that seal. That'll give you another way of taking a seal out. So over the years, I've made myself some homemade slide hammers. In case you don't know what a slide hammer is. Just real basic piece of pipe. This is a lightweight one. This is a little short one. I think I got another heavier one somewhere. And then I got a bunch of adapters I made for doing different things. So I'm going to try this adapter here. So we'll put a couple of center punch marks. Now just by me snapping that center punch on it, that seal moved. So this seal is probably loose. Now, since I know that that seal is real wide, and it's got a second rib of metal in the back there, I went pretty deep with it. And let's see if that adapter I pulled out of there, let's see if that'll, now I already lost it. I may have to use this longer one I made. This one's pretty wore out. All right, let me get a 9/16 socket, I think is what it is. Maybe I could drive it in there. Now this one I didn't drill deep enough. Let me drill it. Let me go deeper on it. There we go. I don't want to break that drill bit. Now it's either going to pull it out or it's going to rip, or it's just going to rip the sheet metal screw out of the seal. I got to get this off of here. I thought I had a 9/16 wrench here. Oh, I got a socket. There we go. It looked like that seal moved when I center punched it. Oh crap. Broke my little adapter. Dang nabbit. I have to weld another sheet metal screw on there. Let me grab one of my other ones that are in here. That impact is what did it. It didn't like that being hammered on. How about this one? Is this the same size threads? This seems like it's a little smaller. It might rip it right out of there. We'll find out. Yeah, it's going to rip that out. That ain't the right size. That's a smaller sheet metal screw. Alright. Trying to avoid having to stop filming and go make an adapter. Let's try this one, this long one. That seems like it's the right size. Trying to get it through that other piece of metal in the back of the seal so it won't just pull out of this thin front one. But if this don't work, then it's hammer and screwdriver and seal puller and 10 minutes of digging the seal out. But I've done this before and it's just ripping the threads out. Depending on how hard the seal is in there, it'll pull it out sometimes. What do we got to lose? If it rips them out, it rips it out. Right? Or maybe we'll get lucky and it'll start moving. And it don't appear to be moving. This one's in there pretty good, and it's still ripped it out. But that's another option. Right. Let's try this. I doubt if this is going to do anything. It's probably just going to rip the sheet metal cover off. It ain't going to pull this seal out. Well, let's just try hammering on it. Good thing I got this good set of screwdrivers. It's got a spot on the back where you can beat on it. I just don't want to put a lot of pressure on it and break it. These are expensive screwdrivers that a fan sent me. I keep forgetting I got them. Even though they're right on my bench. And again, we want to be careful. We don't want to break this housing. Maybe I could split it. Try splitting it. If we can get it to shrink up, it should come out a lot easier. But I think we're gonna be fighting it. Well, I got most of it out. Another little spot behind it. Tried to collapse it and split it like that other one, that outer. Try splitting it now. Dig it out of there. This ain't no kiss from a rose seal. Come on, seal. Dang, is that thing done? Come on, seal. I wasn't gonna let it whoop me. All right, David Bradley. Time to clean out your other cavity here. Now relax. You're just gonna feel a little scraping and a little rubbing. There you go, David. You're doing fine. Relax. Yeah. All right, we're almost done, David. Almost done. Okay. Your cavity's all clean. All right, so here's the seals for the other side. There's the part number. It gives the size down there. We'll grease it up. Some grease on the lip here. We'll just spin it as we put it on there. And again, we'll use the hub as our seal driver. Got more surface area on that side. And then here's my brass hammer. All right. There we go. We'll do the same like we did on the other side, like Uncle Pat said. Fill this with grease. We'll wipe the outside edge of this. There's your dinner. There's your dinner, boys and girls. Boys and girls, moms and dads. It's time for Bozo Circus. All right. So now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to top her off with some gear oil. It leaks some out, not a lot. We'll top her off with gear oil, and then I'm gonna let it sit here a couple days. And then we're gonna make sure it doesn't leak. In the meantime, while it's sitting, I'm gonna clean these brake bands. I'm gonna clean all this up, clean these hubs real good, get all this nastiness off of them. And then we'll put it all back together. Oh, one other thing. So from the other video where it was hard to start, I needed that vent tube. Remember, it was hard as a carp? And they still make it. So in case you're interested, this is the part number of that vent tube. Or breather tube. Excuse me. And there it is. There's the new one. So I gotta put that on yet. So yeah, they still make it. So I just thought I'd fill you in on that because I said I was gonna put, oh, and I put a new screen on there too. Remember that screen was rubbing? The holes were all busted out. And then when I went to put it back on that starter clutch, it was rubbing on the cover. So I went out in my junkyard. I got a milk crate that's got a bunch of screens in there. And lo and behold, I had a new screen for them. So we'll check back in a couple days and make sure there's no leaks. And then I'll put it all back together, and that'll be it. That'll be your dinner. So this is just an appetizer before the dinner, because at the end of the video I say there's your dinner. So have a little appetizer before we get to the dinner. Well, it's been sitting for a couple days and it hasn't leaked. So I went ahead and cleaned up all the parts. They're all cleaned up. Now I can reassemble it. So I'm going to want to put never seize on here because we don't want this stuff to seize up on there in the future. And we sell never seize in our online store. We've got the copper and the non-metallic. So I'm going to use the copper on here. Alright, I never sleezed it, and there were a lot of questions about what's the difference between the copper and the non-metallic. Well, the non-metallic is more environmentally safer, and it can withstand up to higher temperatures than the copper. This, I think, withstands up to 2,600 degrees. That's pretty hot. But they're both universal anti-seize and lubricants. This is for more sensitive alloys. But for what we're using it for, grass rats on lawn equipment, either one will work. And we sell both. And if that answer wasn't good enough for you, you can always look it up online and it'll tell you what the differences are. So we're not going to want to go with the hub all the way up against here, because then as the shaft is spinning, it's going to be spinning on that seal. So shove it all the way up there and then back it off a little bit, or let's see where this thing lands. That may also tell us about how far we're gonna put it. So that lands there. So we're going to slide this back to line up with it. So yeah, we don't want to go all the way up against it. We want to go about right there. And then this is going to go on there. I still got to put that little spacer on there. I just want to get an idea about where this is going to go. So that looks good right about there. And then I got to put the key in. I cleaned up all the keys. Let's see, will it slide in there? Where's my hammer at? Tap it in there. So that looks good right about there. Now I can tighten up these square heads. And then tighten up the jam nuts. I gotta put this little spacer back on for our parking brake. Alright, so that looks good right about there. So I'll tighten this all down, tighten them up, put that roll pin back in. Then we can put this on, which will put it even with the end. Put that pinch bolt in there. Put our wheel on. And then I'll do the same on the other side. I gotta put some more anti-sleeves on here. Well, let me tighten them down first. All right, I got this side all back together. Gotta put the wheel on. Now I gotta do the same thing to the other side. Let me get my never sleeves. Okay, we got it all back together. So now let's drive it a little bit. But before we do that, let me explain how this works, this drive system on this thing, because you're probably curious like a cat. So this lever here, because this mower's got variable speed drives. So this controls the speed of the tractor, and this is forward and reverse. So right now it's in neutral. So let's start it up. So there you have it. We got it to start easier. Changed out the axle seals. And it's a unique little piece of history here. 1961. That's the year I was born. 61. When this tractor was brand new in the showroom. I was just a little baby, pooping and peeing in a diaper, kicking around, laying in a crib, crying, kicking around. Now look at me. Now I'm riding around on one of these. David Bradley. And there you have it. So now it's ready for Casey Raymond to come and pick it up. Unless he wants me to do anything else to it. But that's what he wanted me to do. Put the seals in and get it to start easier. And there's your dinner on this one. So, if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, you don't have to subscribe. There's nobody forcing you. But if you haven't, I would like for you to subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, I guess, too. I'm on TikTok now. I guess I'm a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And again, nobody's forcing you to follow me on these platforms. That's up to you. Go to our web store. Check out all the stuff we got for sale, like the Never Seas and that. We've got hoodies and spark plug necklaces and hats and all kinds of stuff. Check it out. If you're curious, maybe you want to buy something. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! David Bradley! I wonder if he's related to Milton Bradley. It's probably his brother. One made games and the other one made lawnmowers.